a bezel-less design, 4K video, a dual camera setup, and a form factor you can actually fit in your pocket. All for under 200 bucks. You gotta wonder, how is this even possible? I'm Angie for GSM Arena, and this is our Doogee Mix review. Like its name suggests, the Doogee Mix's design is heavily inspired by the Xiaomi Mi Mix, even though the two companies have nothing in common. It looks gorgeous, despite being a fingerprint magnet. The sides are rounded, comfortable plastic, and the front and back are glass. The only large bezel remains at the bottom, and rather than marring its looks, it actually makes it more comfortable to hold. The box includes a screen protector, a solid case, a wall adapter, and a USB charger, which plugs into a micro USB port at the bottom of the phone. There's no quick charging here, but there is a headphone jack. The key below the screen is a fingerprint reader, and it works quite well. Its screen isn't amazing, even though it's an AMOLED unit. It's only passably bright, and at 720p it's spread a little bit thin over the large 5.5-inch screen, so some of the on-screen content looks a little fuzzy. So far so good. That's all forgivable, especially on a budget device. But here's where the trouble starts. What really sets the phone up for failure is the screen's unresponsiveness. It would often take a few tries for the screen to read my taps, while other times it would even try to activate an item close by. For certain apps, the home button would work as home, but for others, it would have the functionality of a back button, which was really confusing. It has many standard features which we've seen on other Chinese phones, such as single-handed mode or a shortcut called float view, but we found it really hard to turn them on or off. The intended gestures never seem to work right. We do appreciate the fancy animations visible upon every key press, but that's pretty much all we liked. Despite the 4 GB of RAM, some games would stutter. Admittedly, not all of them were bad, but even simple games such as Snake vs. Block could easily trip it. If you're thinking that the camera will be this phone's saving grace, I really hate to disappoint you. The dual camera setup includes a 16-megapixel main camera and an 8-megapixel assistant camera. The second camera is only used for depth of field effects, like adding artificial bokeh, and the bokeh is not particularly good either. Even the regular photos have a lot of noise, bland colors, and poor contrast. But it's their poor dynamic range that ultimately fails them. Parts of them are always either too dark or too bright. Still, you can get some passable shots if the light is right. Videos, on the other hand, well, the camera would record videos in up to 4K, and even though the colors and exposure are really nice, the footage we got was most often choppy. This could be due to a poor image stabilization algorithm or performance constraints. Regardless of the reason, we can't say we liked what we got. The phone's front camera is positioned on the bottom half of the device, which meant it'd be staring up my nose whenever I switched it on. Once you turn it upside down as prompted, the end result resembles a caricature more than a picture. Okay, so dodgy sounding name aside, we actually had high hopes for the Doogee Mix. It's a pretty phone. It's got nice materials and good design. However, the software isn't optimized, and the chipset feels slow and underpowered, which is not the case. High-flying specs just don't matter when user experience is slow and awkward. So my advice is, if you want a great phone for under 200 bucks, put this one aside and go pick up another phone. And if you're curious, check out our detailed test findings over at gsmarena.com. See you next time.